Do you ever worry about dependence on foreign oil? Are you concerned about what oil drilling can do to the environment? Do you look at gas mileage while looking for a car? Do you like cheaper gas? In the next few minutes, I will show you the costs and benefits of hydraulic fracturing and if this technique is actually something the US Congress should continue to support to provide us the fuel we need in our daily lives.
What is hydraulic fracturing, or fracking? Put simply, fracking describes the recovery of natural gas from deep layers inside the earth. In this method, porous rock is fractured by the use of water, sand and chemicals in order to release the enclosed natural gas. Only in the last 10 years has there been quite a fracking boom, especially in the USA. This is because most conventional natural gas sources in America and on the European continent have been exhausted. Thus, prices for natural gas and other fuels are rising steadily. Significantly more complicated and expensive methods, like fracking, have now become attractive and profitable. In the meantime, fracking has already been used more than 1 million times in the USA alone.
Shale reservoirs are usually 1 mile or more below the surface, well below any underground source of drinking water, which is typically no more than 300 to 1,000 feet below the surface.
However, fracking is also associated with several considerable risks. The primary risk consists in the contamination of drinking water sources. Fracking not only consumes large quantities of fresh water, but in addition the water is subsequently contaminated and is highly toxic. The contamination is so severe that the water cannot even be cleaned in a treatment plant.
The perforation gun is then removed in preparation for the next step, hydraulic fracturing. The process consists of pumping a mixture of mostly water and sand, plus a few chemicals, under controlled conditions into deep underground reservoir formations. The chemicals are generally for lubrication, to keep bacteria from forming, and help carry the sand. These chemicals typically range in concentrations from 0.1 to 0.5% by volume and help to improve the performance of the stimulation.
Fracking fluid is pumped into the ground using high-performance pumps. On average, the fluid consists of 8 million litres of water, which amounts to about the daily consumption of 65,000 people, plus several thousand tons of sand and about 200,000 litres of chemicals.
In the course of initial production of the well, approximately 15 to 50% of the fracturing fluid is recovered. This fluid is either recycled to be used on other fracturing operations or safely disposed of according to government regulations.
The chemicals used in fracking vary from the hazardous to the extremely toxic and carcinogenic, such as benzol or formic acid.
The whole process of developing a well typically takes from 3 to 5 months. A few weeks to prepare the site, 4 to 6 weeks to drill the well, and then 1 to 3 months of completion activities, which includes 1 to 7 days of stimulation. But this 3 to 5 month investment can result in a well that will produce oil or natural gas for 20 to 40 years or more.
Natural gas is less harmful than coal when burned. But nonetheless, the negative effects of fracking on the climate balance are overall greater.
When all of the oil or natural gas that can be recovered economically from a reservoir has been produced, work begins to return the land to the way it was before the drilling operations commenced. The land can then be used again by the landowner for other activities.
So how is fracking and its expected benefits to be assessed when the advantages are balanced against the disadvantages? When properly employed, this technique offers one way in the short to medium term to meet our demand for lower-cost energy. But the long-term consequences of fracking are unforeseeable, and the risk to our drinking water thus should not be underestimated.
Now the question is if the benefits of hydraulic fracturing outweigh the risks. Oil and gas has become a critical part of adding jobs and helping our economy, especially in North Dakota. With fracking, we don't have to depend on foreign oil. While there are environmental risks, many safeguards are in place to ensure a safe drilling environment long after the oil well is closed. Fracking is an essential part of our economy and something that the U.S. Congress and all of us citizens should continue to support to provide us with the energy we need in our lives.